It hurts, get those ass.
I wanted to knock the dolls over.
He said no.
No, it said it would move its hair.
That's true.
Where'd Tim go?
He went out
Next
to the
door.
hall.
Hi. Oh, okay. You okay, Tim?
Good.
All right, good.
Don't worry. He has spinning right now.
Yeah, that's all right. If you guys want to talk a little bit about the rectory?
What we wanted to share with you that we don't post on the website is information that,
A lot of you guys might know this from if you've been here before, but what we don't post on the website, there was a priest here in the 50s and 60s.
1950, 1965.
And his name was Father
Father
John Burney.
John Burney. And he actually raped and molested over 130 kids here in the rectory.
Oh, I didn't know you had a number.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And that particular case changed the laws in this country. At the time, there was only 1 year that they had to file charges against him. And so when these boys grew up, they wanted to file charges, but it was too late. So the Catholic Church settled out of court, and because of this one priest, the laws in this country were changed, and now it's 18 years if you're raped or molested. And the boys that he did this to, I mean, the men now, I mean, they all have issues to this day. They're either homeless or they're sick or they're got some sort of issue they're dealing with, and that took place in this building here. And the weird thing about him was his older brother was a priest and his sister was a nun, and they didn't have any issues whatsoever. They were both very well respected, and so it's your guess is as good as ours whether it's this place that maybe corrupted him or if he was corrupt to begin with. I mean, that's just. But it does have a dark history, and we don't like to, out of respect for the church, because it was a wonderful church, wonderful community, and all the other priests were wonderful, but there was a very, very bad priest that was here for a very long time.
Do we know which room was Father Burning's bedroom?
We don't know for sure. What we did, you guys got to excuse me, I just got off work. But what we did, we actually brought, and I think Jay let us borrow, Jay and Ashley, that it was the, whatever that does the AM radio or, I don't know what it's called.
SB27.
WD-40, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened was we brought a recorder over and we were in the room right over here, Patrick.
Yeah.
And so what we did, we sat down and we had that going, and then we were recording the conversation while we were doing it. And the entire time Terry started first, we got nothing.
This was like 2
I mean,
days
no.
after we actually found out the name, and we found out a name. A Catholic priest who actually went to the archdiocese and let us know a name. Once we had a name, then you can search the internet all you want, and it brings up all kinds of information about
And
this
you can
man.
find everything.
But we would never post that on a website,
Yeah.
that's just,
Well, Jay's Catholic too, so out of respect for Jay.
yeah.
But anyway, so what we did, we actually sat down with the WD-40, whatever the hell it's called. And we had recorders going as well. And so what we did, Terry started off, and she's right, this is the same night that we found out the name. So Terry started in, and she was being a little bit polite about it. She's very much a lady, she was being polite about it. And I'm not very much a gentleman at times, and that was one of them. So basically what we did, Terry took her turn, we played the recorder back, and there
We
was
got nothing.
nothing.
Nothing whatsoever.
And we always, just to clarify, we always get EVPs out of here. I mean, we call this place EVP Central because we don't come in here when we don't get EVPs out. So Terry got nothing, so I started the thing again and started the recorder. And now this was on like a Thursday, right? Wednesday or Thursday. And so what I did, I started getting a little bit aggressive with it because I think that that's disgusting that somebody would do that to a child that, you know, people are trusted with. So I get in and I start saying a bunch of nasty stuff to this priest. And at the time, you don't really hear a lot of it while the AM thing is going on. But we started playing the recording back, and you could hear clearly you could hear it say Hail Mary a number of different times.
Lots of praying.
Lots of
and then
praying,
Latin,
and this is not even it's not a Saturday, not a Sunday, I mean, this is like on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Praying, crying.
Praying, cry, you could hear it say Jesus.
And it said, Jesus, forgive me.
And then I said something like, you should rot in hell for what you've done to these boys, and you could hear a little boy come on there and start giggling when I said that. And then later on, you could literally hear it say, he raped me.
Oh.
We still have those recordings somewhere, but that's just some of it. I mean, we have so many stories we could tell you guys about this place that you just wouldn't even believe, you know, I mean, things that's, Terry actually purchased a 120-year-old house, built the same year the rectory was, and a gorgeous place. And we have things, one of the biggest things that we have happen over here that really scares both of us, I think, is the growling. And, I mean.
Is what?
The growling.
Oh.
And so we'll be driving down the road, going from here back to Terry's other house, and you can hear from the back seat, that same growling in the back seat, I mean loud.
And just so everybody, I don't know whether anybody reads my blog or not, so
Yeah.
if you're wondering why I'm here, because I don't come here, I'm here
Yeah.
for that gentleman right there, because he's my son-in-law. Okay, and that's my daughter right there, and I'm here to help support him and to share our experiences, because there's so much that goes on here.
We don't even do the tours anymore.
We
I
don't.
mean,
There's
they're
just so
like
much that
leaving
goes on here that we can't talk about, and we're not ready to talk about yet. And maybe one day we will. But
Let's just put we can relate to The Conjuring really well.
there's just, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on here that we don't. I share what I can that I feel comfortable with, and sometimes it takes me months to be able to go back and say things like we were just telling Jay. I think it was yesterday. It's nothing, you know. He thought it was weird, but to us it's just kind of like another day at the rectory.
I might have shared it, the mouse.
Did you the mouse thing?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
it was
so that's-
unusual, so I brought it up.
And we had an exterminator.
Fire truck, yeah.
We had an exterminator. We had asked him about it, and basically what he said, it just looked like something had been playing with the mouse, and something to drain the life out of the mouse, and then positioned it on the ladder, like it was climbing up the ladder.
Oh, yeah, upstairs.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about it was, he said that usually when an animal like that dies like a rodent, its eyes will be bulged out, you know, to have certain characteristics, and this had none. It looked like it just laid down and went to sleep on the ladder. So that was a little bit bizarre.
Yeah, but a lot of things do happen here, we don't talk about that, maybe we will one day. And I'm sure everybody knows about when the rectory was abandoned for a long time, what was taking place. Have you pointed out to people, have you gone like the damage in the doors?
Yeah, I
Every
showed
room's
some of
got
the damage.
And if you even look at the door frames and that, you'll see damage. If you use the bathroom in the kitchen, you'll see how that was dug out too. But they were keeping pit bulls in the closets in the bathrooms, and they were using the downstairs basement for God only knows what. But we've scoped the drains, and we've found canine teeth and all kinds of horrible stuff that they were doing.
But there's a lot that happened at her new old house that we don't talk about to anybody, except I think Patrick knows and Jay and Ashley, of course. But, you know, but it's not there's times you can walk in the door here and you walk in and it feels like it's grandma's house, you know. I mean, you literally feel like you come in and just move right in. You can turn around and walk back out, come in just a couple of minutes later, and there's just something, I mean, it's just a totally different atmosphere. All you want to do is just turn around and leave.
And this is a really serious place here, and I also told Jay to make sure that before everybody leaves, make sure you say whatever prayer, whatever your belief is, to have whatever it is stays here, because our lives, if you saw Ghost Adventures, that was no BS. I mean, our lives have been completely turned inside out having this place, which is why I stay away from here, and it's not good for me to be here. It's affected my life so much,
And our friendship as well.
and our relationship.
I mean, we used to be best of friends, and we can come over here in a really good mood, and then when we get here, I don't know what it is, it's just like something snaps, and either Terry's, excuse the language, pissed off or upset, or I get pissed off or upset. We never get aggressive to the point where it's physical, but, you know, I mean, we just turn into different people at times, you know, and I don't know if that's, you know, maybe the oppression or something, or what's going on there, but.
Has it amped up since Ghost Adventures was here?
You what?
Has it amped up since?
You know what? We've had 2 priests in here, a shaman in here, and the thing about it is, we brought the shaman in first, because it's a friend of.
Was that the guy who was here?
He's the Indian shaman.
Yeah, okay.
And, you know, he came in and
It
really,
just makes it worse,
it
actually.
just makes it worse.
And you know about the crosses, since Jay talked to you about
Yeah.
that? Because Ed and Marcy generously donated all those crosses with the crucifix on them, and I had to take them all off because they just kept coming off the walls. And it was just ridiculous. And then Jay just had the same thing happen to him last night.
Oh, Jay did?
Oh, I didn't tell you.
So, yeah, I
No.
didn't-
I put it on by the door as we were leaving.
Really?
And when we came in and unlocked the door today, it was about 8 to 10 feet down the hall on the floor, sitting perfectly in the position of the hallway.
Oh, seriously?
He showed me a picture, and as
Yeah.
you're walking in, of course, it's upside down from your perspective as you're
That's
walking
why I
in the
said,
door.
was it
so-
inverted, like it was supposed to
Yeah.
be an inverted cross?
Was it really?
Yep.
Oh, God.
I mean, the
like
rectory,
saying
the rectory is a
shots,
great
but-
place if you like to do paranormal investigating, and which is, it's a science, or whatever religion to them. You can, it plays on both sides of the pendulum there. I mean, you can,
But you don't want to live here.
no, you don't want to live here, you don't want to spend a lot of time here, you don't want to take it lightly, and you do not want to disrespect this place.
And I'll tell you something else that happened. My older brother passed
Did
away.
you tell them about
Yeah.
that? They know about that?
Just briefly in
Sorry.
regards to the EVP that,
Okay.
That was my team.
Oh, was that your team?
Yeah. I'm
That
good.
that was,
Hi, Terry.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
huge to me because that's something, I mean, nobody ever gets any type of EVPs like that. It's usually, you know.
So you're the one I was texting like mad back and forth.
Yeah, you're the one that dropped the text bomb on me when I sent you that.
Well, I think it's interesting because if your brother passed over, knowing that you have this property where people like us come in regularly and investigate, what better, you know, what better conduit, what better megaphone to get a message to you?
I
But,
was fixing to say that.
but that might be true,
I
but.
got really
Mine did
emotional.
something-
But I don't see it that way at all. I mean, I know
You
that
think it was
that-
something else
That was
other
the
than his brother?
expression that he and his
See,
brother
that's what-
always used, but 2 days after, because I know after you sent me that, you sent me the EVP and we heard it, we had to come back over here, and it was almost like a repeat of what happened on Ghost Adventures. I mean, you could just, it was so, the energy was so thick, and he was so distraught, and you could tell whatever was here was feeding off that. And I don't think it was a good thing. I don't think it was his brother saying, hey, I'm okay, don't worry about me. I think it was whatever was in here manipulating the situation and
Yeah.
taking advantage of his weakness.
Oh.
Because you know, there's only one other time I've ever yelled at whatever was in here, and that was one of those times. I just basically just said, you know, leave him alone. I mean, you could just tell it. I mean, Tim was
Okay.
getting
Actually, I got
sweaty.
more freaked out the way Terry was acting than I.
Yeah.
He was
I was like, wow.
He was getting sweaty, and he was starting to do the swaying again. He was starting to feel nauseous, and you could just tell whatever it was just.
That's an interesting perspective. I actually kind of thought
Did I
about
not
that
say
as
that?
well. I was like, was it his brother or was it something posing as his brother?
Well, see, I think we're talking two separate things because one of what we had done, because we had found out that night that 'cause
Right.
your brother passed away the previous day.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we did before that EVP took place, we were all up here in this room, and we'd asked the question, "Are you aware Tim's brother passed away?" Those of you in this house, and the EMF detector blinked several times, and then we said, "Is Tim's brother here?" And there was no response. We said, "If you are here, would you like to pass on a message?" And it blinked, and then we asked, "Is it Tim's brother?" And it blinked again, and then we said, "Okay, if there's anything you want to say, you know, now's the time. If there's any message at all you want to pass along to your brother, anything at all, now's the time to say it. We've got recorders, blah, blah, blah." So it was about 40 minutes later that we got that. So personally, and that's worth $5 in a Starbucks coffee, I think that could be your brother. Now, whatever happened the next night was whoever's here, and
Taking advantage of.
they're an a-hole. There's no doubt about it. We had our experiences that night, and I got in a tug of war and a cussing match with this little short, sawed-off son of a gun that runs around here. And so I think what happens is once you get into, and one of the things we call our team a net positive energy team. We come to a place, we take whatever comes at us, and we go along with it. We tend not to get, when we get attacked or assaulted, we tend to kind of line up and say, whatever, bring it. And we don't get overly, antagonistic towards it. We just are very clear in that we're not going to back down from you. This is not your house. You don't own it. Terry Scott owns it. Warren County Historical Society owns it. It's not your home. Back off. Not your place. You don't belong here. And that tends to really, things still happen, but it puts a wall up, if that makes sense. And you're kind of letting them know, you're violating my space, and there are things I can do to you to make your life miserable as well.
But see, you have to realize too, when Terry and I first started this, I mean, it's good to say, you know, whatever's here, stay here, or you know, whatever you're talking about, but that doesn't do any good once you've been in here for a year. And
Sure,
you're
sure,
you know, I mean,
Sure. No, I understand. And you know, and then there's no way I can sit there and say, I'm walking in your shoes, because I'm not.
They knocked it over.
No, I didn't.
To be honest with you.
Oh my God, did you see that?
Is para not normal?
Para abnormal.
There's two things that
Did
could
you
have.
whisper something to Marley?
Yeah.
About a minute ago?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, someone whispered something in the microphone.
She whispered to me too, so.
Ah, okay.
Could be.
What was really cool about that, what your group pulled out, there's two things in the planet that could have made me believe, I mean, 100%, that someone you love can come back and talk to you, and you guys hit one of
I
them.
got
Yeah.
weird.
The other one is,
There.
I don't know if anybody here is AC/DC fans. Terry already knows about this, but when AC/DC first came out with their album Dirty Deeds and They're Done Dirt Cheap, of course I was young and stupid. Now I'm old and stupid, but then I was just young and stupid. I used to say dirty deeds and they're done dirties. You know, and I don't know why I did that, and that's just been a huge joke between my brother and I. I mean, ever since. He teases me about it every time we got around each other. And the other one was, we're definitely not in Egypt.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry can verify that. I mean, we say that every time we get on the phone.
I say, what are you saying?
These Southern people make no damn sense. You ever notice when I imitate Terry, I come talk a little more Elvis and Southern?
Do you know what's funny about that is there's still about 8 hours from here that we haven't done, and I was listening to another half hour that's on there too.
What is?
Dirty deeds done.
No way.
It's dirty deeds done dirt cheap. It's not the way you just said it. It's dirty deeds done dirt cheap. I'm not kidding you. It was like the last half hour I listened to. There's still about 7.5 hours left of the evening
That was Marley.
that we've not
Sorry.
listened to
The
yet.
same day.
Same night. Yeah, we had like 45 hours worth of recordings, which was really stupid on my part because I didn't realize it's like 3-to-1 ratio. I figured more is better. So you got 30 hours of recording. That's like 120 hours of evidence review,
Yeah.
and there's
We're not done yet.
us doing it.
So the
Yeah.
same voice?
I believe so.
Really? See, that wasn't my brother's voice on there?
Well, and again, I told Terry, I said, to us, it sounded like somebody who was in complete awe of the situation they found themselves in. They just, it's kind of like Dorothy or Toto were not in Kansas anymore. Oh my gosh. That was a way, that's how that voice sounded to us. And again, remember, I sent her the text, like, has he ever been overseas? What does this mean? Because it says I'm definitely not in Egypt.
Yeah, no, that was something.
And that's when the text bomb started.
Yeah.
So that's all I can tell you.
You're gonna have to send that over. I mean, I'd have to hear it to believe, to be honest with you, but if that. well,
I got it downstairs.
Do you really?
Oh, the AC/DC or the other one?
The AC/DC.
Yeah, I'll have to pull that out.
Yeah, if you did that, I'd freak.
Yeah, but it's not the way you said it. It's actually dirty deeds done dirt cheap. I mean, it's actually said the way.
I mean, how many EVPs have you gotten back from AC/DC?
Bob Scott died a long time ago.
We just made a Bon Scott Dag Nevitt doll.
We did.
See how it all just ties together?
No,
Wow.
I keep making jokes here, but you know, to be honest with you, and Terry and I both, we've actually given people their money back because they'll come in and they'll say that they've only investigated, you know, once in their lifetime, or they've never investigated, they're just thrill seeking. And we actually return their money because, you know, I mean, even though I've not done anything other than the rectory, I mean, there's something seriously wrong here, and there's something seriously bad here. You know, and that's something that we try to instill in people.
You also don't let people come in here if they come with the attitude like they want
Is it
something.
moving?
That's-
The bell looks.
Yeah, we actually Terry.
Yes.
And I haven't touched the chair. And so I was like trying to like get.
Oh,
What
oh.
happened?
The bell
The
swinging.
bell is.
Stand there with that in your hand.
I thought you were telling me to shut up.
Is there a
There's a bell on the back of the chair.
No.
There's a bell on the back of the
Ever
chair.
do,
I know.
and you may have
You
told us this
saw
last year, but. I'm
I
old
said,
and I
isn't
can't
it draft
remember anything.
though?
Yeah. Did you ever do any
And the
research
chair
about the
No,
ground,
it's
what
not.
it was
I
before?
did tons of research.
Okay, what was, and this is
This
where
was
we.
all, this was all Indian.
Indian.
Okay, all right. That's why we brought Bonnie in
Indian,
last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not, this, there's so much bloodshed here between the French, the settlers, and this is one of the places, there was over 12 Indian tribes around this Ohio Valley
That's right, I
area.
remember this now.
And when they got to the point where they went, there was actually, was it Fort Hamilton?
Fort Hamilton.
Fort Hamilton wasn't that far
Then
away.
Fort Washington.
Right, they actually rounded up the Indians, hog-tied them, put them on the cargo boats on the river here and took them up. So you know there's a lot of bad karma here, just from that. So I think it's a lot to do with the land, it goes all the way back.
Now this
So-
may have been answered, why did you guys buy this place then?
This was gonna be my safe haven.
Oh, so it's gonna be your home?
Oh, we didn't know anything about, nothing, none of this stuff was disclosed to us, we didn't know anything.
So it was supposed to be your home originally?
It was gonna be my home. I was
Well,
gonna-
actually, wait a minute, when we first started, there was a joke about the Catholic Church and maybe, you know, people being molested, but it was done in a joking manner. I mean, it was.
Oh, you
never-
mean Klosterman?
Do you guys keep hearing growling or stomachs or something?
It's stomachs.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
stomachs.
EGP.
Oh, that's right.
That's my goal. You have it.
I just said EGP. I didn't go
The landlord that actually, you know, that owns most of Sedamsville, he'd made, when we were looking at properties, I was getting out of a 27-year abusive relationship marriage, and I was looking for a safe haven, someplace to just disappear to. And what's not to love about this building, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I wanted to renovate it, and I didn't see the damage, I saw the potential, what I could do with it. And it was perfect for me. And I also wanted to turn it into an art center. I mean, you know, my daughter's a ballroom dancer, film, acting, music, everything. And,
This one's not the ballroom dance.
she's a ballroom. The other one. The other one.
That way, they're not.
All we were told, he made some joke that he grew up in this area, and that one time a priest was squeezing his knee in the car, and you know, and that was it. He made a joke out of it, and that's the only thing that was
The
ever said.
landlord told you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just kind of blew over
It
because
was
we
like,
thought
okay,
it was a
whatever.
Catholic joke thing
Easy,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, it was none of our business, so it was like we didn't.
You got a place for a song.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about it.
I will tell you something else we don't tell a lot of people. When Terry and I got the papers signed on the place, we came in and there was a ton of stuff downstairs. And so we go in there, and this leads up to something else, but there was a lot of stuff downstairs in the basement. So we're going through the basement, trying to figure out what we can use in the rest of the rectory. You know what? No. I'm talking about the breaking in of the doors and everything.
Oh, I think everybody knows that.
Oh, they already know. I'm shut up there.
So that right,
No, what are you gonna
say?
say?
The first day we were given the keys, we were downstairs just being sticky beaks downstairs looking through the boxes. And that's when it sounded like somebody kicked in the door. You all know that story, right? And there was a big ruckus, there was furniture falling, and it really sounded like somebody had broken in above our heads.
And then we didn't know, I mean, all we had to
We
joke
didn't know
about
the
was
area.
neighborhood.
Yeah, we're like, oh, this is great.
Thugs or
Bad
something
decision.
coming in.
Yeah.
And we get our money back.
Yeah, and so Tim grabs the hammer and runs upstairs, and, you know,
Nothing.
there was nothing. So, I thought you were talking about the shackles, so we're like, why do they have shackles
No.
in the basement?
Yeah, there was shackles in the basement. We couldn't figure that one out.
Yeah,
Not only did it have shackles, but it had locks that had shackles.
shackles on it.
Were they dog shackles or?
No, these
It could be, I mean, I don't know.
dog shackles.
I don't know.
Do
It
you
just
have
said
dog
shackles.
shackles?
No.
Never heard of
It just said shackles, and it was actually shackles, so who knows?
So, I mean, were they big or little?
Oh, like wrist shackles,
Yeah.
like maybe
Well-
the slave days.
Remember, the first year we did Halloween horrors, we had a psychic here that said that she couldn't go into the room
With the wood?
in the basement.
You know, that's interesting, the one with the wood, right? Because you know, since
Yeah.
my dad was
Yeah.
scratched in the basement, my dad, you guys know about him, right? My 70-year-old father, scratched in the basement. He has recurring night terrors about the basement. That room, the far room with the wood, where he thinks something's buried in there.
Is that where the sink is?
No,
No,
that's
where the wood is,
back
you know, the
room.
far.
The back room.
Okay, because she
Yeah.
is
It's like a
very far.
tomb.
She
Yep.
saw the
Yeah.
sink and said, and she came straight out after that. And I was like, what? She said, I can't go back down there. I said, why? She said, abortions were done.
We've
down
been
there.
told that
We've
too.
been told that.
And well, last year there was a lady here. Remember that older lady? She was kind of old lady that was here last year, or maybe I'm imagining her. Or was that 2 years ago?
Might be 2 years
Diane
ago.
Fox's mother.
Yeah, and she said it was a very well-known fact that quote quote that the
in the
nuns
basement.
would come over here to have
Yeah, that
problems
was
taken care
Diane's
of.
mom.
That was
that came
Diane's
over.
mom.
So I thought that was, again, it's one of those things you can't prove it, but it's
Right.
anecdotal that a psychic picked up on something and then someone who was a parishioner.
My dad keeps
Yeah.
having, he thinks something's buried back there.
When he first came in here, he was teasing everything. He was like, yeah, come on, Casper, talk to me. You know,
Yeah.
he'd walk in the back door. He doesn't do that anymore.
Did he spend the whole night down there, or was it just?
No,
I
he-
can't remember.
No, oh, in the basement,
Yeah.
only 30 minutes.
30
So my
minutes.
parents spent the whole night with us because it was
And
on
that
my
was-
dad's bucket list. But
Yeah.
my mom, we finally went to bed about 4 o'clock in the
4
morning.
o'clock in the morning.
You know,
I still can't believe I woke up and stayed up that late.
Yeah.
I got up at like 8 o'clock at night.
So did mine. And then my
We eat
mom.
dinner at like 3:30
We
in
don't
the
even, we don't even in bed
afternoon.
for like maybe 2 hours.
Normal for us.
And then we could hear my mom up in the kitchen
Yeah, I go.
moving around and doing stuff. We're like, really? They're up. We just went to bed at 5 and they're up at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I stuck my head out and I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? Why are you in the kitchen? So we just went to bed 2 hours ago. And she goes, well, we heard you guys in the kitchen, you know, moving the cabinets and we thought you guys were up and get ready to
Oh, we're up making coffee.
no, we were actually sleeping. You woke us up. So she heard what we basically heard the first day we got here. People moving around the kitchen, cabinets opening and closing. And we also set the flashlight
What
up.
was that?
I don't know, but I heard that.
That was
Very
years
good.
ago.
Yep.
We set the
Well
flashlight up in their bedroom. They slept in that with the flashlight was just
Is
going
that
on
upstairs?
all night long.
Think so.
Yeah.
Sounded like it was
It
coming
was
from the
like
attic. Was
that
anybody
way.
up there?
It's like a door slam or something to me.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, that's something else. Terry's
Almost sounded
parents.
like a growl.
they were
Yeah,
saying-
Oh, yeah, I heard that too.
None of
Oh, that was
them
someone
were standing in the room
stomping.
and the door slammed.
Are you
shut.
sure?
That's
yeah,
just
so-
now.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
me.
Oh, okay.
Fire truck.
Fire truck.
It was a hedgehog.
Fire truck.
So
Okay.
anyway, yeah, we won't take any more every time. We just.
So Tim was trying to say something.
No, we like it.
No, I was just saying when Terry's parents, they were standing in the room over there staying the night, and Terry and I were standing in the doorway.
Talking to him.
And all of a sudden the parlor door downstairs
And then this
slammed
one,
shut.
the parlor door
I mean hard.
slammed shut hard, and the door.
Down here at the end of the hall slammed.
Slammed shut too.
Oh, my favorite.
They don't tease about the rectory anymore
No.
at all.
I know you guys have the book that people sign and they'll
It's
email you
really
and
full,
stuff.
yes, but
It's full.
Have you, and I don't mean to be like interviewing like Oprah here, but have you noticed consistent stories from group to
Yes.
group that certain things are
See,
happening?
that's something else that we stopped doing, and Terry and I agreed this together, because up until like, what, 2 months ago, I was coming over and still doing the tours.
That was longer ago than that. You started your new job in March, so it's been pretty much since
Okay.
March.
Since March. But what we do when I come in, used to, I would tell them different things that happened through the rectory, either through, your and Patrick's experience here. I used to tell a lot about Patrick losing time, and I'd tell things that Jay's experienced in different groups of
And my
people
dad and us.
that we knew personally, and I tell them about that. I got to where anymore when I would start the tours, when they came in, I'd say, look, all I'm gonna do is just walk you around the rectory, get you familiar with it, because I don't want anything that that I tell you, I don't want it coming back and you have an EVP at Joe Blow that I just made up. So basically I just stopped doing the tours altogether as far as giving them information. I would say, the creepy room is the creepy room for a reason, and the servants' quarters are active, the kitchen is active, and that's all I tell them. But everything is consistent all through that guest book and what people see.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
The big thing down in the library, you can be standing down there in a group, and I think that happened with Patrick and last time too, but you can hear somebody standing in the corner going,
Mm-hmm.
just loud as day.
That's why when you did it, I didn't know you were sitting there and they're like, oh, it's Ashley.